I've got two dogs actually, and this is my old lady. She's deaf, and otherwise in very good health, but I think she seems to have pushed her way into my daughter's room, and then the door closed behind her, and then she was stuck. I could hear her making all these funny sounds. Anyway, she's out now. What's that?
What type of dogs are they?
I have, well, here, I can show you. They're both here. That's the old one walking out the door. She's a Catahoula, and that is my younger, she's an Australian cattle dog border collie cross.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Are you a dog person?
No, because I've been attacked by a dog before, so
okay.
Yeah. I wanted one. I still do want one, but
yeah.
over that fear of dogs.
Yeah, fair. Where did was it in Canada or in Ghana?
Yeah, in Canada. It was outside my park. I remember I was coming home, and sorry, give me 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, I just got an email telling me that I've been chosen against my education lead role, thankfully. Then I have to apply again. It's a 1-year term.
Okay.
So I just finished the selection process, and I just got the email saying,
hey, congrats. So that's in the Toronto Youth Cabinet still?
Yeah, Toronto Youth Cabinet.
Okay.
But in terms of the dog, yeah, I was outside in the park. I was left. It was Halloween day. I'll never forget in my life. It was 2 years ago on Halloween. I was going to the park so I could go home. Next thing you know, I see something coming my way, and it's a dog, and I run. I did track and field, but I have asthma at the same time too, so I couldn't compete with the dog. And then I was just falling down. It was crazy. But then some kid who had the dog grabbed him or whatever. I'm just like, no, it's dangerous. And it wasn't a park where you're supposed to unleash your dog. That's what bothered me too. It was you're supposed to have your dog on a leash.
Yeah. Oh, that's awful. Did the dog bite you, or was it like he jumped on you?
It touched it touched my jeans.
Okay.
Like it kind of was grabbing my jeans,
okay.
But it never really. No, I never really did it back me. If it did, I would have taken some legal action.
Right.
But it was okay, thankfully. It
okay.
was good.
Okay, but left you scared of dogs, which is too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those small chihuahuas or that won't bite, or the ones that I can raise myself. So by the time they're big big, I won't be scared because they know me.
Yeah, well socialized. Yeah, it's really all about how they're cared for by their people. Yeah. So. Okay, so we were talking about how you came to activism and your parents. Are there other things that you're currently involved in? It sounds like there's a lot connected to the Toronto Youth Cabinet. Are there other sort of things that are separate from that you're also doing? Well, you mentioned the volunteering at the community center, youth director.
Yeah, being a youth director, I've been at that organization for the initiative. Since I came back from Ghana, that was in 2016, so good 3 to 4 years I've been with them, and I was just going there to get volunteer hours, but then I never expected to elevate within the organization, so I've really grown within the organization gladly, and I've been doing that for facilitating. Before I was a youth director, and even to this point, I continue to facilitate programs there, help out where I can. I really do take on more of an advisory role because I'm so keen on ensuring that we have good programs, especially my whole focus, besides my education, it's matter education, it's the community safety and gun violence problem in Toronto. And so wherever I go, I'll always say education is the key, in my opinion, to solving the gun violence problem. Because at the end of the day, I look at my situation, I look at other people's situation, and it's similar, but yet we take different paths. And I feel like the reason why is because I took education serious.
Right.
Despite all the odds that were against me and the systemic racism that I faced in education, besides the lack of opportunities that I faced, et cetera, So it's I'm so keen on education as the key to solving the community gun violence problem, community safety problem, and education is key to reconciliation, the Justice St. Clair said in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report.
Right. Yes. So why, you just mentioned this sort of walking down two different paths, and you chose to take education seriously. What do you think allowed you to do that, or why did you choose that path?
And honestly, I'll have to use the word. It was like, I'd say it was, I'll use the word destined. And the reason why I use that word is because when I applied for the SRTU cabinet, I did not apply. You can apply for 3 positions. My first position was community safety.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've always been interested and focused on like the gun violence problem, and police, racial profiling by the police and carding, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And my second position I applied for was education. But then I remember got an interview and they said education. I was like, I thought I bombed that interview, to be honest. And it's just like, I guess if it wasn't for that fact, to be honest, I wouldn't be education lead right now. Not at all. I don't think my focus on education. No, I don't think it would be that deep as it is right now. I mean, I always found the importance of education, but I wouldn't have seen myself in an activist type of role in terms of education.
Okay. And backing up further, like, why did you take education seriously in terms of your own schooling?
Going back to going to Ghana, like just the discipline measures that they used over there,
okay.
And like I always say this, wherever I go, I always say the first day I went to Ghana, I got lashed. Even though I'm just like, me, my brother and I, fresh from Canada, we didn't do anything wrong, but then the class did something wrong, and it's like all together in this, so they had to give like lashes on the hand and to everyone. But I went to a private school, so that wasn't condoned.
Okay.
There's some teachers just had their own different techniques, or whatever.
Right.
But education is in Ghana due to the fact that they stressed it so much. Like they really stress education as so important. That's why when I understand, and that's why like when people kind of like want to belittle African nations or third world countries and whatnot, it's like these people are really smart. These people, like the work I did in Ghana when I came back to Canada in grade 11. I had done that work my first year in Ghana. So it's like the teachers always wonder why I finished early, why I always got 90s. Like I remember one time she even said, "Oh, were you cheating?" Which was another thing so many white teachers like to say to black students.
Yeah.
But it's like, nah, like we learned this stuff. I learned this stuff 2 years ago. So it's like that's also gave me my success in high school.
Yeah.
So, why would? And I guess my passion came towards it too because not everyone had the opportunity in Ghana to be educated. Because I went to a private school, but then other people who go to the government schools, it's like the quality of education, is it the same? That's a question mark. And this another question mark is mostly, they don't have the opportunity. They have to go help their parents, sell food or like work in the shop, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Just like everyone has a luxury and access to education.
Yeah.
So seeing all those stuff, it really myself nasty even.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I know I've always wanted to be a lawyer since I was in grade 8.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, I knew education was important, but like now I have it. I don't see as going to school just to going to school's sake. I see it as okay, I gotta go to school and I gotta go to school and take the right programs too. I'm not just taking easy programs. People like, why didn't you take your major as music or some easy thing? I could have done that, but it's like I'm actually trying to gain some type of real education that'll help me in my advocacy and my future roles.
Yeah, amazing. Last kind of background question, and then I'm going to move on to talk more about democracy and citizenship. And the question is, what have been the most important influences in your activism?
Most important influences
like have shaped your ideas or shaped your directions, or it could be people, could be books, or...
I'd say like, cause like my ideologies and like mindsets mostly, I guess, liberal NDP like. So like, and if it wasn't what's influenced it, well, I'd say Ghana again. Like Ghana, cause just that whole seeing how people live in the country and whatnot, and really wanting to make a difference. In Ghana, because I can still, let's say when I rise up to position of Prime Minister of Canada, I can still make an influence in Ghana.
Yeah.
That is my goal to be prime minister.
Awesome.
I can still make such a influence in another country.
Yeah.
It's just my influence, my advocacy has been Ghana,
Yeah.
and has been like all the volunteer opportunities too. Like, oh my gosh, I think of like I volunteer like almost everywhere. Currently, I'm also volunteering at West Park Healthcare Center. It's also in the York Southwestern Riding.
Yeah.
And I'm West Park is a rehabilitation center and a long-term care home as well.
Okay.
So I do recreational activities with the patients and do all that sort of stuff. And I just interacting with them, seeing the I don't know, just like because I've always wanted to build my humility and like my empathy aspect too, because that's really what's gonna drive me to be more of a passionate advocate for whether those with disabilities or those in any aspect who are like suffering in society. So those, I would say Ghana, my volunteer experiences as well.
Okay.
Not education, never education. I would never teach education ever. And I would say I don't owe I'm not here right now because of education.
Right.
No doubt, I'm going to tell people I know the importance of it, but I did not gain any of my knowledge and education in Canada. No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. I definitely want to come back to that in later questions. Okay, shifting gears slightly. This section, things get a bit abstract, but there's no right or wrong answers. It's just like exploring your thoughts. And the first one is, when I say the word democracy, what comes to mind?
And the first thing that comes to mind is, I would say, Abraham Lincoln, how he worded the government, of the people, by the people, for the people. The government of the people, for the people, by the people, whatever.
Yeah.
And that was the first definition I learned in Ghana. I learned the whole idea of democracy. It was first taught to me when I was in Ghana.
Okay.
So then I'll never forget that type of definition. So when I think of democracy, that's what comes to mind. And I guess a free and equal society, but it's like I feel like we have to move away from as time went by, we move away from the equal aspect to strive for more equity, or just removing barriers altogether.
Removing barriers, yeah. In Ghana, did you learn about that in the Ghanaian school system, or was that just in the community? This idea?
No, it was in the the school I was in. It was social studies class? What did they call it? But yeah, it was one of those government classes.
Yeah.
Where we learned about the democracy in Ghana, and democracy in like European and North American countries as well.
Yes. Okay. Well, next question is, do you remember learning about democracy in school? And if so, what did you learn? So you mentioned in Ghana. Did you learn about democracy as a concept at all in Canadian schooling that you remember?
No. No, not at all, to be honest. No, not at all. Maybe it was probably taught, I'm sure it was probably taught to me some long intellectual knowledge of it, especially in elementary school and high school.
Yeah.
No, definitely not in high school, I would remember.
Okay.
Is it my internet connection?
Yeah, I think...
Yeah, it's a message popped up saying, like, my internet connection's unstable.
Same with, I got that same message, so I don't know. Well, it was getting a little bit pixelated, but I can still hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you fine, so.
Yeah, okay. So you were back, so you're in Ghana from grade 8 to grade 11? Like, were you back in Canada for grade 11 or for grade 12?
I was back in Canada for grade 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did grade 8, 9, and 10 in Ghana, or grade 9 and 10?
Grade 8, 9, and 10.
8, 9, and 10 in Ghana, okay. And then, so grade 11, 12, you don't remember them talking about democracy at all?
No, not at all.
Okay. So then, where else did you learn about democracy? School in Ghana? Other ideas you have? Where have they come from?
What else I like about democracy? I'd say, I guess I'd say with all these, like with all the research and stuff I've done in terms of like when you talk about social justice issues or just like politics in general, like that word tends to pop up a lot. And but like what I really sit down and say, I've went in depth to like on the word democracy. No, but the ideas of democracy, and this will kind of like segue into the next question. Like this country, I would not say is. I mean, maybe by on paper we are a democracy, like in terms of like how we actually go about and how our societal institutions are. I would not say we are a democracy at all.
Okay.
Why not? But you can ask a follow-up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you're right. That's what I want to know more about. So tell me more about that. So yeah, the next question is: do you feel as if Canada is democratic? Why or why not?
No, and going just to like the Abraham Lincoln's definition, I feel like that one's a good one too because I can break it into pieces properly. Like so, like is the government of the people. Now looking at our government, Canadian government, not even in terms of who's in power, just in general, the government itself. Is it a government of the people? Yes, but it's a government of like it's like selective in which people it's going to govern, or it's in which in which people it's going to govern, and it's selective in which people uh, uh, it's going to let's say use it with aid or help out with it whatnot. That's part of government by the people. Right? What by like government? So the government of the people by the people. So yeah, by as in okay, man, yeah. So when we talk about by, talk about like forming the government, terms like probably like voting and things of that sort. And I don't like the voting system here. And that's why we have parties like and just to be blunt, I'm not even an NDP person too. I mean, I might seem like I and I've kind of distance myself from party politics or just partyness in general. Just trying to, I love the non-partisan work, but like that's why you don't see governments like parties like the NDP really rising up because of the current was a single. Well, I did an essay on this.
The first past the post.
First past the post.
Yeah.
Right now, but rather we need proportional representation or a ranked ballot or whatnot. So like, do I think this Canadian government is a government by the people? No, because we already know. Even talking about party politics, that most of these politicians are lobbied or owned even by owned by companies and corporations or whatnot. And I'm not even trying to play on to like one would argue rhetoric of like these parties or oil companies offshore. Like forgetting all these words, all in all, there is an influence on these all politicians, and that's like I don't think that can be denied at all. And it's like the seen movements like Bernie Sanders, grassroots organizing, all in all. I feel like that's will give us like true democracy, for lack of a better expression. Like that part of government by the people. Nah, this is not government by the people. Because let's not even talk about let's not talk about. Let's talk about like. I mean, in the States, I know certain people in prison or whatnot can't vote, and like there's gerrymandering in the States. Correct me, is it gerrymandering here in Canada? Does that take place?
Gerrymandering. I don't know.
Not to the same extent.
Yeah, probably not to the same extent. I'm not sure. I haven't heard about it happening. That doesn't mean it doesn't, but yeah.
But like even this whole idea of silencing people's vote and not enabling them to vote, whether it's Indigenous people in their rural communities or just access in general, like all access in general. So like it's really you can't really say this government is by the people, it's owned by the people. That's totally false. Now going to the last part of government for the people, 100%. Obviously not. Obviously, I know. I do not personally, from a personal perspective, let's say putting all the what I know aside. No, actually, no, I'm keeping all I know. I would not say this government in general serves my best interest, and I always tend to not look at it from even individual perspective, but just holistically as in the general interest of society. And I still don't think, even from a general, holistic perspective, that the government serves in the best interest for the people, or even serves in the interest for the people. And as I said, going back to like the how these politicians and parties are just like owned by whatever by basically, or like whatever, like the campaign fan, all that stuff by companies or whatever. So it's like it's not for the people. And like now my whole idea of like if this government, if it was a democracy and it was truly for me and for what I stand and for equality or equity, whatnot, it's we wouldn't see what we see right now.
Right.
So big no. No.
So this is fascinating, and like super insightful. And then you're also involved in the more formal side of things, like campaigning, canvassing, doing the Toronto Youth Cabinet. So is that does that feel like an internal conflict at all? Like feeling like government as it stands is not really democratic, and yet trying to help people get elected and stuff like that.
And it is because it's just like, I forgot the quote, but it's just like looking at the systems and institutions that we have right now. It's like I know they're not democratic, or they're not like to promote political freedom or equality or whatnot. But it's like, and that's why I'm so keen on the fact that we need to, whether it's overhaul our institutions or like create a new type of government and society where people's voices are truly representative, and whether it's our legislature, basic politics, or just represented in all facets of society.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like being in the cabinet and like looking at the market, and I was just like, and I guess being in the cabinet, because the Toronto cabinet is 100% nonpartisan,
mm-hmm.
and just like from what I've seen, even within municipal politics too, where yes, obviously everyone has their own campaign donors, etc., but it's like it's still the same. I know I was talking to my boss about this like this week. I'm just like, because like something occurred, and just like all these politicians are just they love playing politics. They like just love playing they're like getting into their games, looking forward to the next 4 elections. How like as soon as you win, how can I win the next election? So it's just like our government has just been like, true democracy seems to have been replaced with people's personal interests.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's deep? I should write that down.
Yeah, I'm writing down. Yeah.
Is it possible to? I mean, are you gonna take notes? Wait, no. Are you going to take notes?
I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes. Yes, and I've got the audio recording, which will be typed up. So, yeah. Are you?
Am I able to like get a copy of that?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. I
yep.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
for sure. The government, our institutions. Yeah, because you can't talk about government without talking about our institutions that are a part of our government. They're just totally. And that's because we gotta talk about history of colonialism and like, oh goodness, just going to. Like, just talking about that part too is like, you cannot tell me in 2020 that the government or that kind of general democracy, especially when our institutions were founded upon slavery and residential schools, like this stuff. You can't tell me that we are in a democracy, especially with these type of institutions still.
Yeah.
In the role that they were meant to play, which were to oppress everyone else, but to lift up the white man or white woman.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And so, where did these ideas, this like really coherent, powerful critique you have of democracy and Canadian democracy, where did you develop those ideas, or how?
Now, most of what I said, I'm like, if I were to like say, I got this from there, I got this, I'd be lying because I couldn't even trace them.
Yeah.
But all in all, I always say that I owe it to every experience that I partaked in. So whether it's from the cabinet, whether it's from my role with community organizations, I think, and that's why I'm so keen. I'm glad that I expanded my like not even interest, but my reach and like where, because I don't put my time into something I know won't be beneficial for me. It's like I make sure I basically diversify my life and my interests. That's why I went to go volunteer at the hospital, even without. I already had all my volunteer hours, but when I woke up, it's like, you know what, I want to do this. So and I was also a spokesperson for United Way, and like getting that experience as well, and giving my speeches with corporate, like big corporations down in BMO and da 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 da, and seeing how I interacted with them, those people, from like, and it's like all the experiences I've had in my life, and just my own personal friend group, and just social media, obviously 100% social media has been keen, and like so like I owe how my mind has been shaped. But if I'm supposed to be even more specific, I'd say it's been shaped from my connections and relationships with all the people I've come into contact with, to be honest.
Okay. Can I ask, because you mentioned getting that email saying you would be able to continue in your role as education person, like how do you get into the Toronto Youth Cabinet? Is it a selection process?
You apply. There's when applications come out, you apply for whichever lead or director role you want, and then after if you get to the next phase, which is an interview, the interview is with a panel of like 3-4 people that ask you questions, and after that, they now I don't know what happens with the background, whether they check your references, because they do take your references and whatnot. So it's verbal, written. The application process is written. It's not like you don't just submit your resume. They have many questions on like what skills you have, what initiative you want to partake in. But at the end of all of that, then they evaluate you to see if you're fit for the position.
Okay. So it's not elected in any way. It's like applying for a job kind of thing.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting. And do you know what kind of criteria they're using to put together the cabinet? How many members are there?
We have I'd say 15 to 16 or 15.
Okay.
We have a leadership team, an executive team, or in other words, we have working group leads, where like myself, education, community safety, housing, transit, etc. And we have a director role, so executive director of council relations, public advocacy, social media, etc.
But they're all selected through the application.
They're all selected. It's like I guess, and it's like what our Minister of Education is elected, but then our Deputy Minister of Education, she is selected. There's this split.
Right.
And like for schools, we have elected trustees. I recently found out the student trustees were elected. I thought they were just chosen.
Okay.
So that was my mistake. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. When I say the word citizenship, what comes to mind?
Citizenship. First thing that comes to mind is just like being acknowledged as a human being, or like being acknowledged as a human being in a country or in a particular setting. In a particular setting. Just like all in all, we learned citizenship in Ghana as well. I think it was right after our democracy conversation. And it's like, I think of citizenship, I feel like it's, like being, we can talk about the whole, as a citizen of Canada, you have all these rights and freedoms, but it's like, as a citizen, it depends on the environment you are in to determine if you get to experience and partake in your rights and freedoms and responsibilities and whatnot. So it really does depend in my eyes. But all in all, the first thing I said about citizenship, that's how I really see it as.
Yeah. Same questions. Did you encounter any information about